Drag racing fan, let's light it up here on Between the Slicks, drag racing's most diverse talk show that is out there. I mean, how diverse is it? Well, we got a two-time NHRA Nitro Funny Car champion on in Cruz Pedregon in just a few moments. And later, Camrie Caruso, possibly, I do think historically, the first lady to step inside and dump the clutch on a Mountain Motor Pro stock. So that is the show tonight. And by the way, you're live as well. We will be taking your questions. Well, look, I'm not going to wait any longer. I'm going to take a break right now to say thank you to a few folks. And right after that, Cruz Pedregon is live with us on Between the Slicks. Hero Soap Company is a veteran-owned establishment that produces all-natural, essential oils-infused soap that is sold with a portion of the proceeds supporting other veteran groups. Hero Soap Company. Heroes supporting heroes. Be a hero yourself and buy a bar and let freedom clean.
She's going to completely interrupt the thing.
Uh-oh. Good to go, Cruz?
We're good.
All right, man. Look, thank you for being on. It's an honor to have you. And as we were talking a little bit before the show began, man, 28, going into 2021, 28th season of Pro Nitro Funny Car in the NHRA. Can you even believe it's been that long, man?
No, I can't believe it's been that long. And we were talking off the air a little while ago, and it's been my driving career when I was driving for owners, I thought was forever, and it was only really 12 years. And so for me to look back and to think I've exceeded that as an owner is pretty crazy too, because, you know, actually John Force came up to me a couple of years ago, and he said, man, I think he was just having a moment, and he just said, it's really cool that you're out here still after as much it takes to own a car and to put the financing together and to get the sponsors and all that stuff. And I really took that as a pretty cool compliment from the champ Force. So yeah, it's been a minute or two.
Definitely has. I'm glad that minute or two has been the case for you. Sam Smith, a co-host of mine on the Competition Plus Power Hour, he says, Raider Nation pulling for them Raiders. I got to ask, Cruz, the move to Las Vegas, what did you think about it? What's your personal thoughts on it?
Well, I thought it was good. I mean, it's all about the stadium. I mean, it's really the Raiders are the Raiders, regardless of where they're going to be located. I mean, it would have been nice to keep them in Oakland, but you know, the fact is, the world is about finances, and you know, and really, California is all. There's no room to build a real nice stadium, so. They were not in the nicest place. So, yeah, Vegas is just a hop, skip, and a jump. And then they have a beautiful stadium to play in. And really the way it works, the economics of it is they're able to attract some better players that want to go race there. See, I'm thinking about racing. They want to go play there. So I think it's really going to be better for them in the long haul. And they're still the Oakland Raiders to me.
I definitely think if they were going to move to a city outside of Oakland, that, yes, Las Vegas just fits – the Raider mentality the best. Talking about fitting mentalities, though, look, Quarter Mile Bandit chimes in and says, Cruiser returning to championship ways. Look, you've made news this offseason with the bringing on of brand new personnel that was a part of the Tommy Johnson gang. And you've talked with Brian about that. You've talked with others about that. Through this year, you've made this change in this switch. When JFR said they weren't going to finish out the year, I saw JFR employees go to other camps. Do you think next year that in the Nitro ranks, especially in Funny Car, with all the movement, that the competition is going to be, well, better than it ever has been?
Oh, for sure. It's going to be better than it ever has been. I think really Force will probably come back strong as ever. You know, Schumacher's team will be minus the Tommy car, but I think we're going to, you know, we'll take that place, I guess you could say. And, you know, there's going to be some other cars that are probably going to be out there. They're going to be strong. So it's, Actually, I was talking to Dale Worsham. He's a good friend of mine. We talk away from the track, and he said that when the rumor was out that we were going to hire JC and that whole team, he one of his comments was, "Man, Funny Car is going to be pretty tough because they're coming on with Alexis's car. They were coming on strong. So yeah, it's going to be just what we all needed, right? We need more competition out there. But yeah, it's going to be good."
Definitely is going to be good. Hey, speaking of Del Worsham, I was thinking about questions to ask before the show. Lexus had a terrible, terrible fire at Texas. One of the worst fires that I think the NHRA has seen in a long time. Personally, the worst I have seen in a long time or ever seen. I've got to ask, for a guy like yourself and for other crew chiefs and car owners, when something like that happens within a class, does it work out into like a community situation there and everybody goes by and talks to the team and like, what happened? Do we need to expect anything? Do we need to make changes? Does it, raise the eyebrow for people in Funny Car in a situation like that?
Well, yeah, as crew chiefs, they talk and they'll share some things if it's something that they could help the safety of another driver if there's something, but it depends on the crew chief and the relationship with that crew chief versus and Dell's pretty well liked out there, so I'm sure he shared that. But it's kind of one of those things where a little politics goes into that. What teams tend to do is if they don't want to, because it's always about, well, what happened and why did it happen? And if it usually comes back on a crew guy or something that they could have done different, they usually don't want that to leak out. So it's hard to say. I guess I'm answering it a couple different ways. It's hard to say, and it really, with these cars, it's hard to really put your finger on what breaks or what happens first, the chicken or the egg. When these fires happen and there's damage, it's hard to really get in there and figure out, well, what happened first. So yeah, Lexus's was a pretty bad fire. I didn't really see the video, but I heard about it. And like I say, Dell and I talk all the time. So yeah, they had to rebuild the whole car after that.
Definitely did. It was utterly destroyed. It was in bad shape, definitely. So many folks know that you enjoy your iRacing. I've talked to you about that before back at Indy in 2019 and before the show. I'm thinking of getting into iRacing myself here pretty soon, though I do have some sim racing background, just not in iRacing. So look, for the Monday Morning Racer to get started in iRacing, what are some tips from the cruiser himself to be prepared for, look out for, and hey, you don't happen to have a promo code, do you?
No, really, iRacing is very, very cool. I do the dirt track stuff, so I have raced road courses, which is to me a little bit out of my wheelhouse. It's a little more difficult. The one thing about iRacing, it's so realistic, but the thing you cannot do is feel the G-forces of the actual car. So, like, for example, try driving a NASCAR at Sonoma, for example, because those cars are so heavy and they're kind of they kind of rock around like a boat. It's hard to slow them down to get through the corners. So I usually wind up flying off the racetrack, and I remember I tried to go around the lap, make one lap. I couldn't do it because, again, you're driving these cars, they're powerful and they're heavy. Well, you can't. Some of these little hairpin turns out of road courses is hard to negotiate. So I stay on the dirt tracks where you can wind it up, get sideways, drive them, and it's a lot like a real car. You need to look far out and just get your elbows up, like they say, and it's a lot of fun. It's I think it keeps me sharp, keeps my hand-eye coordination up, and I just love dirt track racing. So I love the competition, and like I said, getting sideways, but. I can't say enough about the graphics and the realness. Like I've raced Eldora before, the Ohio track in these cars, the super late models, and I've driven probably hundreds of laps around there. And the iRacing is so realistic. The dirt, the way it changes, the way it slicks off, when you get the laps in, it's just crazy how they've been able to do that with their technology.
It is amazing what they've been able to do. Everyone states that it is realistic. But speaking of being like true realistic and reality, Caleb Cox was nice enough to unlock the shop door, let me come in and do a shop tour and get some footage. and he may never let me in again, but I got in that time, and I'm going to bring this up on the screen. Let's talk about this beautiful ride that you've got, and what are the plans for this quarter midget? Any Chili Bowl action coming up this year?
Well, that's actually a full midget. That's like a 380 horsepower little 4-cylinder that runs on methanol. And yeah, that's a little dynamite. Comes in small packages, like they say, and that little thing there will get your attention. So yeah, the biggest thing with me is finding the time to do these things. And I recently sold a sprint car. I was building a sprint car, a dirt sprint car. Thought I could go race it at all these races when we're not racing, but you know what? We're racing all the time. And speaking of the Chili Bowl's coming up in a month, a little over a month from now. But man, with this pandemic and all, it's an indoor event. I can't get myself to go do that just because of the uncertainty. And then really my new team, I want to be there in one piece. So I want to get with JC and work with them as we build our team for the NHRA season. So love the dirt track cars and love having it there in my showroom at my shop. But that's where it's going to stay for a while until we can get some time to get out there and race.
Man, we'll definitely look forward to you getting back on dirt. You've had success on dirt. Would like to see it again for you. And yes, I definitely think for you, two-time NHRA funny car champion, want to go for a third. Gelling with the team is definitely going to be advantageous. That topic, gelling with the team, building connections. I've seen motivational speakers come in to Cruz Pedregon Racing. I've seen y'all do team building events. What are things in the off season that y'all are going to do to get ready for racing to make sure all the gears are in a line and working right?
Well, really, it's just a matter of getting all the parts switched over. We're actually taking a car, our existing car, and completely changing it. We had a 6-disc clutch. We're going to the 5-disc program. So really, we're buying parts, and as quick as they can ship them, we're just building engines. And even though we didn't have a lot, we made like 50 runs this past year. We still have a lot of work to do, mainly because JC ran a different type of race car. Another little example, not only are we changing some of the engine components and the clutch, but we're also putting the fire bottles from the rear of the car to the front. There's probably nothing we're not changing on the car. So when the fans see our Snap-on Dodge roll out to the track, it's going to look the same, different paint scheme, but it's going to be a completely different race car, different camshaft, the timing of the cam, so the car's probably going to sound different. Some of the controls in the cockpit are going to change for me too. So we're going to have our hands full. Luckily, we're not starting our season till March. We're probably going to go testing earlier than most teams, just so we can get some runs under our belts and get JC and the team acclimated to my driving style, that the way I make a burnout and the way some of the drivers, the way they load the clutch, there are subtle differences with how people drive. So we want to go, and get that out of the way. So when we get to the track and, live rounds, as they say, we're all hitting on 8 cylinders.
So Joe Morrison chimes in, the Joe Morrison from Top Fuel in the Leverage Racing Group. He asks, question for Cruz. Did Cruz drive for Jerry Darian like his brother Frank?
No, I never did. No, I know Jerry. I've known Jerry. No, never drove for Jerry. I drove for a guy by the name of Gary Turner of GT Bike fame, GT for Gary Turner. I drove for that team, 88, 89. Yeah, so no, that's Frankie. And I think everybody else who was trying to get their start in drag racing drove for Jerry, except for me, I think.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, talking about starting things, I hope you're able to start back up this year with this car. I got that shop tour, and more than the big car, I didn't know about the full midget, but this car right here is what I wanted to see. Talk to me about your nostalgia funny car, Cruz.
Yeah, that's the Cali Charger, man. That thing is, everybody that walks into the shop, like yourself, they look at everything and they say, man, it's a pretty cool shop with that. Even Ryan, one of our new guys on our team that's came over from DSR, looked at that and he said, man, I'm not into nostalgia cars, but that is cool. So that car we replicated that car that was around in the late 70s. And I really love the car, love the colors. You can see our little shop area there. It's all decked out in California Charger blue. So there again, that's one of my prized possessions. Grew up in that era, those cars that I've replicated from the 70s, but it's a modern day funny car with the exception of the engine is, less horsepower than what we run now with the Snap-on car. But finding the time, man, that's the key, is finding the time to go run it and do those things. But it's in our shop. It's ready to race. So the only two races that I'm interested in racing it is the Bakersfield March Meet or the Hot Rod Reunion in Bakersfield at the end of the year. But it's hopefully we get back to everything being normal, so we can get these tracks open back up, like out on the West Coast, so we can hopefully do Bakersfield.
So earlier this year, in the middle of the year, during everything COVID, the height of it, the NHRA had to cut purses. And everybody got into an uproar. And here comes Cruz Pedregon with this, I think, very enlightening video that you put out about, hey, this is the nature of drag racing. This is the nature of drag racing. It's been that way for a while. Why'd you feel like you had to put that video out? Why'd you feel like you had to kind of be an advocate for the NHRA? Kind of like that, I believe it was the Sean Langdon situation at the top end.
Well, I just kind of felt like sometimes people say things because it's the thing to say, and people just kind of jump on the bandwagon. I just kind of felt like NHRA needed defending there, and I needed to defend my position because I just noticed a lot of negativity. And if you're a sponsor or fans and you're sitting home and reading all this stuff, I just don't think that stuff's good. So I wanted to share my thoughts on it. And all I was trying to say was, and I still feel this way, is, hey, I like money just like anybody else. I love money. I mean, money my friend calls them fun tickets. Who doesn't like money? We all want to get paid. We all want, to get $1 million to win a race. But the fact is that there was this thing called a pandemic that started, and it made a lot of people sick. It's still making people sick. A lot of people have lost their lives. And for racers to not accept NHRA's position to do what they have to do to survive, to me, I just found it was like, wow, how can people be that? I don't know. So anyway, that without getting all into that again, I just felt like it was somebody had to break the the cycle and go the other direction.
Well, you definitely took it the other direction. I think it was timely and it made sense. And, me with my own YouTube channel, Monday Morning Racer, definitely had to say, hey, go check out what Cruz said. This makes a lot of sense with what is going on. Now, you mentioned something to Brian Loans, and I wonder if you feel like in 2021 it's going to be easier for you. But you've got the challenges of driver, owner. Are there times that you feel like, I can't keep my foot in it because this is going to really hurt in the pocketbook? And do you feel like in 2021 that you're going to be able to, chew a lot easier? Because as you told him, you bit off more than you could chew.
Yeah, well, for sure. And, one of the things I have, my responsibility as an owner is, number one, I have a boss just like, anybody else. I have to answer to sponsors. And so for me, our performance, it needs to get better. So as an owner, I have to do whatever I have to do to do what for the team to get better. So as a driver and an owner, I have spread myself thin, and we weren't getting the results, and we had tragedy strike us at the end of last year. So the fact that the stars lined up just right, and here we are in desperate need of a lifting, an uplift. Here comes JC and his whole team that were on the brink of a championship last year, finished second in points with Tommy, and they became available. And so as I was spreading myself thin, I thought, well, shoot, man, I don't need to be killing myself here. I'm a driver and I enjoy driving. I still feel like I can do a great job driving, but I also have an obligation to Snap-on and their franchisees and our pit side hospitality to spend that time interacting between rounds and some of the different things, commitments I have to do as a driver. So the fact that we have a legitimate race team and race personnel, I feel like, okay, now I can let those people that do their jobs that I hired them for, and then I can just focus on the things that I just mentioned, and also getting in the car and doing a good job driving and keeping my helmet polished and doing all those kind of things, listening to some music, in the lounge, chilling and trying to bust some people up between rounds, or on the track. That's what I do. That's my job.
Speaking of helmets, you've got some cool helmets over your career and even in the portfolio right now. Which one is your favorite?
Oh, one thing I've never done, and I always admired Don Perdome's helmet, the Snake, because he always had that distinct helmet with the stripes, kind of like they all were patterned. It really cool, but he always had the same helmet. A lot of Formula One drivers have had the same exact helmet. Now I missed that part of it, but I do like different colors and different schemes. So I have every flavor you can imagine. I have candy apple colors. I love candy apple. I would say the California Charger helmet. I have two of them that I've painted through, or I didn't paint them, but I had them painted. They're probably my favorites. I'm going to do a 2.0 California Charger helmet that's going to come out hopefully by first part of the year. And even though it doesn't match the red colors of our Snap-on car, I still like to because it's the driver's personal thing. It's the one thing the driver can show that it doesn't have to match the car as long as it has some mention of the sponsors. It could be the driver's, heck, he could paint it like a potato or something. I don't know. He could paint it whatever color, and it's an expression. The worst thing for me is to see a driver with a white helmet. That to me is like, come on, man, really? You gotta show your personality a little bit. So that's kind of my way of expressing myself. So yeah, you'll see probably 4 or 5 Bell helmets. I'm sponsored by Bell. They may have a great helmet. So we'll be rocking some pretty cool helmets this year.
Well, speaking of rocking things, I know you've come to the defense of the NHRA several times, but with you being there at the Winston time frame, the Coca-Cola time frame, and now the ushering in of the Camping World time frame, David Humphrey asks, with Camping World coming on as a title sponsor, do you think this will bring more potential sponsor dollars? Do you think drag racing is going into a brand new possible golden age, at least era?
Yeah, I think whenever you bring on new companies like that, and especially with this particular company and the CEO of the company, Marcus Lemonis, has a very diverse background, and he has a lot of companies he's involved with. He does a TV show that's all about promotions and businesses and helping businesses. And the fact that he's able to see value in our racing and in even NASCAR is a plus for all of us, our sponsors. I mean, think about it. Mike's sponsor, Snap-on, I'm sure sells tools to the techs that work at Camping World that fix these RVs. So it's really a good fit, I think. And I think anytime you can attract a big company like that has tentacles to TV and other companies that are vendors that sell the products inside these stores that sell these motorhomes and all the RV equipment is a good thing. So, and I have an RV, by the way. I forever have owned like nice motorhomes, and finally I said enough of this. I don't want to drive this thing forever, and so I sold off my last one about 10 years or about 8 years ago. So with my daughter, 9 years old now, I thought, man, I want to go camping and show her what a little camping, what it's about. And so I bought a trailer, and myself and my girlfriend Melissa went out to did a little camping before it started getting cold. So, and then here comes Camping World. So I'm a legit camping guy, and we have a Camping World sponsorship, so it's a good fit.
Definitely is a good fit. You go to any drag race, big or small, tons of people are camping.
Yep.
From the racers to the fans. I'm curious, speaking of transitions between title sponsors, what was it like transitioning from Winston to Coca-Cola? What was that like? Was there any bumps in the road, any what are we going to do now type of situation, or was it easy?
Well, that's really the NHRA's, that's their sponsor. It's their responsibility. So as racers, we were just happy to see a company come in and sponsor, because we realized that, hey, without a title sponsor for NHRA, hey, they're business people. The funding to pay us, to pay all the awards and all the championships and pay the racers, a lot of that's where the money comes from. So for us, we didn't really see much of it. The trophies changed, the jackets changed, Winston was pretty lax with the tickets. We used to get like a whole stack of tickets like that back in the day. So that's tightened up since the Winston days. I can tell you that. We used to get them, and hand them out to all of our friends. But now, they're all accounted for. And with Coke was a good sponsorship while it lasted. And then now, I'm sure as time goes on, everybody wants to account for everything. But hey, as racers, we don't really see the difference, to be honest with you. But it's good to see that these companies, again, see value in our sport. And, we're on TV. We're on, we have a lot of great loyal fans. So the fact that it works for them, works for us, we get paid. Hopefully, speaking of getting paid, hopefully we go back to what I don't want to do is send the message that, hey, you can just pay us whatever. Like I said, I'll be the first guy to say I love money, and we're the NHRA, I think, is going to do a good job and get things back to where they were, and we won't have to talk about the purses ever again. So that's what we're hoping for.
Hey, maybe with that, TV package deal that's been worked out with Fox, that there will be a Cruz Pedregon win, and it will lead into a Raiders win on Sunday night. That would work out great. That would work out great.
Yeah, they play the Colts too, so that's going to be Colts at Vegas. So yeah, we'll be a tough game, man. That's a 8-4 Colts and 6-5. That's a turning point. I think the Colts are 8-4. People are going to check. So, man, I got to know what he's talking about.
Yeah, right. They're going to check. Yep.
Yeah,
they're diving into the comments.
But it's going to be. It's a pivotal game, and they've lost a few they probably shouldn't have. But anyway, it's all good.
Hey, it's football. It's football. So Stephen asks, how do you feel about the finals of the U.S. Nationals being held on Sunday now, and do you think that it will stay like that for the future? So, yeah, did it feel weird running U.S. Nationals on Sunday instead of Monday?
Not weird at all, and I love it. Like, we all want to barbecue too on Labor Day, so we're racers. We love that they had it. It was tradition, but man, if you look at all the racing, all the events, the sporting events, we were the only ones that I recall that had our events on Monday. When I want to be barbecued, throwing down a cold one myself on Mondays, not racing. So if we could have an event, the quality of the event, and still get the fans out there, I think it's a good thing. I think it will stay. I think it'll stay. I hope it stays.
So Destroyer 1320, he asked this: any chance we could see him, Cruz, in a gasser? So I've had a lot of Southeast Gasser Association guys come on the show. So yeah, Cruz, any desire to hop in an old gasser at some point?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess I'd have to see what the I don't know. I'm kind of torn. I used to always want to jump in any kind of car and drive it. And now that I've driven for all these years and I've driven all the dirt cars and stuff, I don't have the desire just to get in something and just go down the track. It would depend. I mean, I don't know if it was for a cause or a charity situation. Yeah, for sure. But just to jump in it, yeah, like I said, my time is so, there was a time where I wanted to do so many things, and I did some things, and like I said, I just spread myself so thin. So I just keep it between the lines and just focus on my Snap-on car and keeping that team going. And like I said, I've got a good group of guys now that I don't have to babysit so much, and they can just let them do their thing and I can do my thing. And, hopefully we have a winning situation. I'm looking forward to, I said it on, I was talking to Brian, I said, it's like, man, I don't want to, the desire for me to do it is still there, but the desire for me to win is still there. And to do it, to finish 10th or 12th in points or whatever, I don't have a lot of desire to do that. So I think I'm ready to climb back in this thing and start winning again. And that's what we're trying to do.
Well, speaking of time, I've just got 2 more questions for you. I'll let you go. Don't want you to hold that phone no longer.
So actually, I'm propped up on a pillow. I'm good, man.
Okay, good. Like awesome.
Like a stand here.
You came to the NHRA's defense, but with your years of experience, from Winston, Coca-Cola, now to Camping World, what does the NHRA need to do that they're not doing right now that maybe they did in the past, or you even see it as something brand new?
What do you mean as far as like their business model, or like what do you mean? Like I'm not sure I follow.
Yeah, it could be a part of the racing product, a special event, maybe more money at particular spots in the season. I don't know, anything like that.
Well, I think there's always room for improvement, with NHRA, just like anybody else. I think I always like to see the show continue uh, to evolve, and really, well, I guess a little thing that I'd like to see is to stay on schedule, keep the fans entertained, figure out, okay, what do we need to do to minimize the oil downs, because that hurts the crowd. The one thing I hate to see. Is when there's a long oil down and there's fans leaving the stands. I don't like to see that. So I think we still need to worry about, not worry about it, but I think there still needs some work in the oil down situation. Do we need to figure out how to make these cars less volatile? And really, I mean, I know this is going to sound controversial, but I've never shied away from controversy, but I still think the quarter mile racing, maybe not at all events, but I think before I'm hang up the gloves or hang up the helmet, I'd like to see us go back to quarter mile racing at events that we could have the proper length, the quarter mile racing, I think, is still what we should be doing ultimately. And so, yeah, I'll leave you with that. And is there a lot of things that need to happen for that to happen? Of course, it's not easy, but quarter mile racing is what this whole sport was founded on. And so for us to race the 1,000-foot, to me, is, I think the fans would really down deep would like to see us go back to quarter mile. I mean, maybe not at all events. I'm sure there's races going to be, oh my God, what's Cruz talking about? Well, I ain't talking about nothing other than we should go back to quarter mile racing. Deal with it.
Well, boom, there it is. Well, I would say, take some of the things people want to see and combine them in one annual event. Quarter mile racing, funny car versus top fuel, big money. It can't be that hard to get all of that together. You think something like that could get worked out?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's really what the fans want to see. I mean, I don't know. We did top fuel versus funny car a while back, and I don't know that it really it had a sustaining I don't know that they were still as high on it the second year. I don't know, but the fans will tell us. I mean, if their place is full, I do like the four wide racing. I really don't. I know a lot of people are on the fence with that, but I love four wide. I love the uncertainty that the drivers, as a driver, I love the uncertainty to know when the guy is going to stage, because you're not worried about one guy. You're just three other guys, and I love that challenge of not knowing, and how all that falls in. And so, and I love the four cars on the track. To me, it's cool to watch. I love to be a part of it. Now, to me, it's like NASCAR having a road course. Okay, road courses, there was 2. Now there's like 7, I think, next year. So would I like to see 2 or 3 more road courses, 4 wide on top of the 4? I'd like to see us do 4, and I'd like to see one in the countdown. Right now the 4 wide races are like almost back to back. So anyway, I like to mix it up. I like to have a rock band. I think NHRA could have maybe not a rock band. It could be a country music band, but I like to see a little more entertaining, out there, just a little more. And you don't want to make it a carnival atmosphere, but I'm for entertainment and having a big event. I love racing in front of a big crowd, and so I think that's going to be the future. Those things I mentioned are going to be something that hopefully this regime that runs the NHRA now will think about to grow the sport. Really, it's about, I always say, leave it better than you found it, and that's what I think needs to happen.
I think those were all great suggestions. Hopefully the NHRA is listening into Between the Slicks, and in particular Cruz Pedregon. Well, I had one last question for you, but I'm going to divert and give it to a fan in the comment section. Really has a great question. Manny Manuel says, when it's all said and done, what do you want your racing legacy to be? How do you want it to end, man? And what do you want it to be known for?
I'm going to be completely honest with you. I've never thought about that one time until now. So, man, I don't know. I've always felt this and thought this, and I don't know how this is going to sound, but I'll be appreciated and loved more when I'm gone. You can take that for however you want. I'll be appreciated and liked and loved more when I'm no longer doing it.
You're going to be like a, obscure, strange artist that later on painting becomes valuable.
Oh, maybe, yeah. But no, I don't know. I'm just a guy that wanted to race. A lot of people find me, I don't know. People seem to like want to hate on me a little bit, but hey, I'm not the guy. I will say this: I'm not the guy that goes from pit to pit, joyful, talking to everybody. I'm not that guy. I'm more like a Don Perdome, nose to the grindstone. I want to do well on the track and win. I'm not there to be everybody's friend. I love the fans, but I don't really get caught up in. There's certain drivers, and I'm not going to mention names, that want to be loved. They want, like they say everything and anything to be liked. That's not me.
Right, definitely. And, in talking to Caleb Cox, other crew members, because it's that mystique is out there that like you're a hard individual to work for and that you're no fun. And they're like, no, that's not really it. He wants us to do a good job because he's paying us. I mean, that's
right,
expected.
Right.
But he wants to win. And I appreciate that out of a competitor. In my own experience, the first time I was ever able to like, okay, here's a shot to get an interview with Cruz. It was U.S. Nationals. You were having a rough 2019, and you just went out first round, and you're like, yeah, come on. And there were other drivers that day that said no, and they had better days. So,
I just think people want people to be a certain way, and hey, I'm not. We're all different, and so, I mean, a lot of people, which I find this, I guess, gratifying, or I don't know. I find this cool that people that think they know me, once they get to know me, they say, "Oh man, you're just a regular," and I am a regular guy. But like I said, I don't get caught up in the whole "I want you to like me" stuff, and I don't know, there are people that like me. There are people that like Ron Tobler. I'm friends. He was my crew chief. We're like best friends, and but hey, maybe I'm not it's like maybe I'm an acquired taste. I don't know, but it's fun. We're not all the same, man. If we were, imagine how it would be, right?
It would be rather boring, but I hope the world doesn't get any more of me. It would be challenging. It would be challenging. Cruz, look, man, thank you for being on Between the Slicks. It's been an honor. I appreciate it.
Hey, appreciate you, man. I appreciate it, and we'll look forward to being on again.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. There he goes, Cruz Pedregon. He is in the shutdown area rolling out from Between the Slicks. Look, up next after the break, Camrie Caruso. She's been in just about everything, and she got in something brand new, a Mountain Motor Pro Stock. Definitely looking forward to talking to her as a part of drag racing's future and what she will be doing and where she wants to get and where she already has been. We'll be talking with her next. You do not want to miss that. Right after a break, a word from, let's choose Power Built Tools.
From the beginning, you learn the value of the right tool for the right job. You learn to appreciate innovation, precision, durability, workmanship, and the reliability of the people who stand behind the products they make. Because in the end, the quality of the job relies on the quality of the tools.
Camrie Caruso, how are you doing tonight?
Good. How are you?
Man, I'm doing great. I just got to talk to Cruz Pedregon. How could I not be doing good?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yes, man. But look, I am definitely excited to talk to you. I have found it so fascinating because Mountain Motor Pro Stock does not get enough love, period. And then you've stepped into the class. And I'm looking so much forward to talking to you. Got to talk to your dad last week, and I was shocked that I'm shocked to see that you're not eating. Like every Caruso I've had, or someone involved with the team has been eating. So you've broke the streak. Thank you.
Yeah, we just ate our ice cream beforehand, so it's nothing to eat now.
All right. Great. So, yeah, Dad lets you get in a door car. How did this work out? Talk to me.
He did. I was surprised too, just as everybody. He knew wanted to. It's no secret that I want to drive the Pro Mod. Everybody knows that. Him and Papa weren't for it. They aren't for it. So we kind of took a step back and thought about what other door cars they would be okay with, and to start, because the first time I was ever in a door car was in, I think, March for a super gas car. So we kind of just settled on Mountain Motor, and it's been a really fun experience so far.
Yeah, who has been helping you out to do that? I hear that the champ Johnny Placino's been involved. Who else? And look, I love those Cougars. I loved them when they first came out. Talk to me about your ride, and have you got the name yet? Because everything you've been in has got a name. So is that the car you're going with? And
It is not, but I'm also not going to tell anybody what car I'm going to end up in, because I don't want to jinx it. So, but Johnny is helping me learn. So is Anthony and Dominic. They have been awesome throughout the whole entire thing. Super supportive, and I've learned a ton so far.
Spectacular. Is it as hard as they make it out to be? Like, is the clutch really, got that much force back on your leg? And, how challenging is it? Because you've been in a lot of other things, which I want to talk about, but how challenging has it been to get behind the wheel?
It's had its challenges. It's very different from anything I've ever been in. It's a faster door car, which is different within itself. Then you have to shift on time, and the clutch. It's not terrible, but different clutch pedals and different cars are set up differently. So I've only been in one of the Mountain Motor cars so far. So this one's not bad, though.
Very good. Look, give a rundown of what you have been in for anyone watching Between the Slicks that may not be familiar with you, because the list of what you have drag raced is rather long. You're quite the accomplished drag racer. So give us the rundown.
I started in junior dragsters. I had a few different juniors. I had siblings that raced juniors with me. Then I moved up to a super comp car. I had a purple top dragster. Then I had Lola. Then we got rid of Lola, and I went alcohol racing, and then we got Lola back. So, and now the Mountain Motor car.
That's a good list. That's a good list.
It
And
is.
Lola's a great car. You have a love affair with Lola, but is Lola back together again? Let me ask that.
Lola is alive and well. She will be making her return to a racetrack somewhat soon, I hope.
Okay.
But she does work again. She's very well. We can't seem to get rid of her. We got rid of her once, and we got her back. So
Awesome. So
she's here to stay.
Chris Ramos asks, he says, "Hi, Camrie. First of all, he says, would you ever want to drive a top fuel dragster? So if that opportunity came along, would you be willing to do that?"
Hi, Chris. I would never say no to an opportunity to drive anything. I'm pretty open to driving anything. I think that if you're given the opportunity, you have to take it, or you don't know what could come next. I would drive a top fuel car. I wouldn't go out and buy one per se, probably, but I would drive one.
Hey, I'm like you. If I get opportunity, and apparently, folks are wanting me on a top fuel Harley, I'll do that. I'll do anything.
I said I would do that once. I don't want to race I would race like a season in top fuel dragster. I think it'd be fun. I'd only do one race in a top fuel Harley.
Yeah,
I'm not trying to injure myself.
Right. I know what you mean. I mean, well, look, I think, if I could find some leathers big enough for me that I would fit, I got a little extra weight. I could throw it around maybe. I don't know. I'd give it a shot. Definitely.
It'd be fun to learn.
It would be. It definitely would be. Destroyer 1320's got a great question. Does Camrie have any advice for a dad of drag racing fan daughters to get them motivated to race? So, yeah, what would you say on that?
Honestly, everybody has their thing. If they're into it, awesome. I've never not been into racing, but my younger brother, he doesn't race. He used to. So if they're around it and they like it, then awesome. But it's not for everyone.
Not for everyone. That is true. I remember there were two sisters that I raced against in junior dragsters, and one was completely, I want to be a, NHRA top fuel dragster driver in the future, and the other one's like, I just want to go track. I don't want to do anything. I go talk to.
I know how my brother is.
Yeah. It's very interesting. It's very interesting.
My brother used to race juniors with me. He doesn't race a big car. He's not really interested in it all that much, but he supports us, so it's not for everybody.
There you go. Well, you're going to be out there next year, and is the plan to run just PDRA events? Are there thoughts of any NHRA quarter mile events? What are the thoughts with the Mountain Motor and Lola?
So my dream season in the Mountain Motor Car would be PDRA and NHRA. If that's going to pan out that way, we're not positive yet. But NHRA for sure. I would love to do the PDRAs as well. But honestly, it all comes down to funding.
Speaking of funding, like who's helping out even right now? I see Wright Trailers on the door. So what's going on there? Like, I've heard you mention on the show, Tool Time Tuesday with you and your dad and Dez. You've got to go work for Wright Trailers, sell a trailer. So yeah, what's your involvement there? How's that work out?
So, I forgot to tell you, Lola's involvement next year is just going to be wherever she fits in. She doesn't really have a plan yet. But Wright Trailers I work for them, helping with the racing side of things, the sponsored driver side of things. Kind of just doing all racing stuff with them and making sure they're where the racers go to build a trailer, trade a trailer, buy a new trailer, buy a used trailer, kind of anything to do with trailers.
Very cool. Well, trailers are very important in racing, and you got to have the right one. And
they sell all kinds of trailers, but my focus is the racing ones.
Hey, that's a good focus for you. Definitely good focus for you. Look, Chris has got another great question. He asked, what was your reaction to Megan Meyer stepping away from the top alcohol dragster scene? So yeah, Megan, 2 championships, ripping things up. And he's like, hey, I've done enough. I'm going to call it quits for now. What's your thoughts on that and what Megan did at the end of the season?
Honestly, Megan's an amazing racer. She's accomplished a lot in a short amount of time. And if she's ready to start a family and go a different direction, then I'm sure she'll do just as good in whatever direction she chooses. But it's sad to see her go because she's an amazing racer.
She definitely is. She definitely has accomplished a lot. And frankly, her name is going to be on the record board, I think, for a long time with what
she did a really good job.
Yeah, short amount of time, did a really good job, and what they blasted off at Indy at the U.S. Nationals was just spectacular.
She had a pretty great last season.
Definitely did. Definitely did. So I'm going to bring up a photo. It's a photo I took. It's one of those candid photos. I'm like, this actually turned out pretty good. I didn't expect that. It's kind of funny. I really like it. So I want to put it up here, and I want to talk about the people in this photo and get your reaction from it and who these people are in your life. So this is from the first Galot race.
Oh gosh.
At PDRA. Yeah, I loved it. So much is going on here. So, folks, I think the arm that is just there hanging, I think that's Lee White or Hank Jackson. So talk to me a little bit about Hank Jackson and Lee White. Talk to me a little bit about them.
They are a really important part of the team, and they are pretty good at everything they do with the racing, and they are like family to us now. So it's awesome to have them at the races when I race as well, even though their main focus is the pro mod.
Definitely their main focus is the pro mod. They're doing a great job there. Look, your dad, Mark Caruso, there next to the dragster. Talk to me about your pops. He's a pretty cool dude.
He is definitely a cool dude. He is probably one of my favorite people on this earth. He is one of my best friends. We definitely get into a lot of questionable things together. Like we were just making TikToks before the show. He is the reason I get to do all of this and live this crazy racing life that I love and wouldn't want any other way. He has backed every one of my crazy decisions, and I can't thank him enough because he thinks I can do anything. So I really appreciate all of his support and my papa's.
He's yes, and I'm too bad that your grandfather isn't in this photo. He's a cool dude too. He is definitely.
He is awesome, and same thing for him. He has supported all the crazy ideas I've had in racing and in life, and I really appreciate both of them.
All right, so the beautiful lady in all black back there in the background is Erica Ender's sister, Courtney Enders. So talk to me about her involvement and connection to the team, relationship, but she's out there doing her craft in the media with the PDRA and everything, Kings Ridden Media. What's she's like?
Courtney is awesome. She has always been kind of like a hype girl for me. She always supports me, always keeps up with my racing, and whenever she's at PDRA, she makes sure to hang out with us. And she's known my dad longer than she's known me, but I've known them a really long time, and they're awesome. She has accomplished so much in the media world, and it's really cool to see her do Kings Ridge.
Definitely. The last one in this picture, in the white with the visor, the well-known connected to her, the visor, Amanda Busick. Now, I saw this scene, and I'm like, oh, Amanda, because I had been trying to get an interview with her for almost a year, but she's so busy at NHRA races, I just could never catch up with her. So, yeah, how well do y'all know Amanda, and what is Amanda like at the track and away from the track? And she's been on the show y'all have as well. Talk to me a little bit about Amanda.
So we met Amanda a few years back in Indy, our first NHRA race. She has been awesome. She's like family to us, just as Courtney is. And when we were going to Race Galop, we always talked about her coming to hang out, and she did. And she was my backup girl for the weekend. She's really cool. She's awesome. She's humble. She's pretty famous, but she still hangs out with the little people. So we love her.
She is a very down-to-earth person. It amazes me every time I text her and I get a response. I'm like, I have Amanda Busick responding to my text. It just amazes me. So
cool.
She is cool. She is definitely cool. And yeah, she brought donuts that weekend. That's even better.
She did. And she went and got our sushi for us. So she's definitely awesome. She's accomplished a lot of cool things in her time. So
definitely. Well, look, let's talk a little bit about what you may very well accomplish in this photo from David Hillner Photography. I know you mentioned that there's going to be another car, but you're already getting used to what you're going to be stepping into in the Mountain Motor Pro Stock world, the Extreme Pro Stock world. So from what you understand, are you the first lady to step in a mountain motor? And whether that's the case or not, what's the goals, Camrie?
I don't know what other girls have tested or driven them. I know that I will be the first in PDRA and NHRA to compete. I'm pretty excited. I don't take goals lightly. And in my first year, I want to win my first race. I want to qualify for all the events, and I'd like to win a championship. I know that's pretty high up there, but I'll fall somewhere between the stars, so I'm okay with it.
Wow. She's calling out Johnny Placino already. My goodness, kid. Wow. Yeah, mentioning that, Johnny is a heck of a tuner. He's a heck of a driver. I mean, he didn't have the fastest car all year, but he did drive that thing to several wins. I'm curious, how were the reaction times in the Mountain Motor Pro Stock car? How were they?
We aren't going to discuss reaction times at the moment because they're not to where I want them.
Okay.
They've improved since my first time in the car, but I'm not telling anybody them.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right. So You mentioned, junior dragsters. You've kind of always been around racing and had the racing bug. If you didn't have your life connected to racing, what do you think it would be involved in? What do you think you would be doing?
I have no idea. My dad, my papa, my dad's girlfriend, Christy, they all know all I want to do is go racing. That's all I want to do. That's all I want to. Oh, the only places I want to go involve racing. And I honestly have no idea what I would do without it. And probably wouldn't be a good day. So I have no idea, honestly. I cheerleaded when I was younger for a bit, but I chose racing over that. So I honestly have no clue.
All right. Smart move. I like that. Racing over cheerleading. Definitely. I like that. I like that. So, yeah.
Maybe Dad can answer that. He's on. So.
Yes, he is on. Yeah. He said good peeps here. To
oh,
all
yeah.
the
That was
folks
the
photo.
Yeah.
Photo. Yes. And also for the guy holding the camera. Let's just add that while we're here. So, Camrie, look, you obviously are set up well. You've been in many different types of cars and now taking this new venture in Mountain Motor Pro stock. Where do you hope it all gets beyond 2021? What do you hope at the end of your racing career, however long that may be? What do you think? What do you hope people say about Camrie Caruso?
I hope people say that I like to be nice to everybody. I'm a social butterfly at the racetrack. Most of the time, my dad's looking for me because he can't find me because I'm socializing. That I'm a good racer, hopefully people think, and I hope to accomplish a lot before my time comes to an end.
All right, there we go. Camrie, look, thank you for part 2 of the Caruso's on Between the Slicks.
No,
I greatly appreciate
I was on a plane the first time.
You were on the plane, but you were watching, though. You were watching, and I appreciate that. I
was, because you got Dad to admit he might let me in a pro mod one day.
It was there, and it is recorded. It's on YouTube, it's on Facebook, and it's on Twitter. And if I need to, I can send you that clip, and you can play it.
I would really appreciate that because I have been trying.
All right. Well, look, hey, spend some more time in that Mountain Motor Pro Stalker, and you never know, you might just have to circumnavigate Dad and hop in something else and just him not know. What Dad don't know won't hurt him. Yes,
he
Mark.
knows everything. You cannot hide anything from him. It doesn't ever work out in your favor.
Yes, definitely. Hey, before I let you go, let me ask this. So Pro Mod, there's a rule change made in the NHRA. They got to shift that thing now. What's your thoughts?
Well, I've had a few people ask me that today already. I told a few people I didn't care because honestly, the rules are the rules and you have to work around them. You don't have to like them. You don't have to agree with them, but you do have to follow them. But I think it'll be fun to see. I mean, who knows? Maybe there'll be new drivers enter because of the rule. I think it'll be fun, challenging, exciting to see what it does to the Pro Mod class in 2021.
Definitely. Camrie, look, thank you for your time. Wish you the best of luck in 2021 in Lola or whatever the Mountain Motor Pro Stock will be called.
Thank you.
Folks, Camrie Caruso, the newest edition of the Mountain Motor Pro Stock ranks, Extreme Pro Stock in the PDRA. Folks, look, I'm done. We're in the shutdown area. The chutes have been pulled. This is the end of Between the Slicks. Great show. Thank you for being a part of it. I will be here next Thursday, 8 p.m. I don't know who I've got. Maybe we'll find somebody in Pro Mod to talk about NHRA 2021 and the rules change. We'll see who I find. I will go ahead and clue you in on this, though. I plan on having a Christmas special the Wednesday of the week of Christmas, and my co-host will be Amanda Busick, and we'll see what guests we get on from possibly the world of Top Fuel or maybe Sega. You never know, because this is Between the Slicks, the most diverse drag racing talk show out there. God bless, and keep the pedal to the metal.